Welcome back to Painting Delight. It's so nice to see you again, and I hope you are fine wherever you are. So today for you I have a black canvas, and we paint these black canvases with black gesso. I allow that to dry completely, and on top of that I have covered probably a little bit more than the half of it with Indian yellow. Indian yellow is a very nice transparent yellow, and as you can see we can have a green hue in here because black and yellow gives us green. And on the rest of the canvas I have covered with a mixture of phthalo green and phthalo blue. Just brush mix those and then blend the colors together. I thought we'll do a very nice autumn scene somewhere deep in the woods with a very nice stream, and I really hope you enjoy today's episode and grab your brush and paint along with me. And let's start with the twins brush and some titanium white. Let's have a light source here. Just put some paint in, and this is where we'll bring the white to life. Let's decide the light source. Let's come in here and just do our regular crisscross strokes. In here I have no liquid clear because I want to avoid mixing mud, and I'm just using some regular paint as we do, and we come back and forth blending all these. Okay, let's take a clean and dry 2-inch brush and do the same thing from here, from the light spot, and just blend these outwards. We have a very nice vibrant light source here, and allow it to get darker and darker as we go away from it. Just something like this. And now very gently go across, remove any brush marks, and this is all you have to do. Now if you think that you're using a lot of paint or that your colors are not blending, before you apply your transparent colors you can add a very thin even coat of liquid clear on the entire surface and then add the transparent colors, but use less color compared to what you would do if you didn't have the clear on. So I thought today we'd use an oval brush today. Let's take some white. And go into some of the dark sienna, some Van Dyke brown, and a little bit of yellow ochre. A little bit more white perhaps. Let's have some nice indications of trees here. So let's decide where we want our trees to be. And we want a color relatively close to what we already have. Let's build some very basic shapes of trees here. Go to the other side too. Let's add a little bit of cadmium yellow to this. And just think of a pattern here, very basic shape. And we're gonna work in layers here. Gonna add a little bit more paint. Let's have a bigger one here too. Just up in some very nice shapes. And we want a very nice scene deep in the woods. Let me add a little bit more color, then add a little bit more of the dark sienna, and layer this. As you can see we have lots of different layers already. Something like this. That's how we always work when layering the painting from the light to the dark. And do the same to the other side too. I wanted to use the oval brush today to do something different. This is a very nice brush to use. But instead of using the oval brush you can do the same thing with whatever brush you want. Let's add a little bit more paint. I'm just using the same color, just varying them a little bit from the light to the dark. Just some Van Dyke brown, probably some dark sienna too. Add some branches here and there. And always remember to load the brush as necessary. Just play a little bit with the color. It's gonna be a very nice, playful painting with some nice earth colors. And as you can see, I have some nice openings here and there in order to have the light coming from the back. Just darken your color a little bit as you go further away in the painting. Just like so. And a little bit more dark in here. And I'm gonna use mostly dark colors. This is an excellent piece of equipment, and you can really paint a lot of things using the oval brush. A little bit more dark color here for me. You can see all the nice layers that we have painted here. Now I'm gonna remove most of the paint that I have picked up. And before I add my highlights, let's go into some paint thinner with my liner brush. And let's take some of this color. This is white, yellow ochre, and some of the browns. Let's add some tree trunks here and there. And if your paint won't stick, just add some more paint thinner. Just add some trunks here and there. But I don't want a lot of detail right now because there's a lot of light coming in here. As you can see, this is very vibrant. And we're also trying to build depth today. Very nicely. And another trunk in here. A little bit more of the paint in it. And give this a little trunk here. We're basically using the same colors for these. Let's come in here. And it really doesn't matter if you start from the bottom or the top for the tree trunk. Something like this. Maybe we're gonna darken this a little bit, take some more brown, more paint thinner. And let's come in here and put a nice tree trunk. Gonna add more dark. And it pops up straight away. Okay. Another tree lives here, and you can add as many or as few as you want. It's completely up to you. And I don't bother not having all the trunks showing in, so if you have noticed that I have been running out of paint in here, but this actually works in my favor because I have more light on top compared to the bottom, so you can see the whole of the trunk. So nothing to worry about, we just let the paint do the work for us. Now I'm gonna take the oval brush again. This is what we're gonna be using today, and I'm gonna go into some titanium white and some of my yellows here. Just a nice golden glow here. And we load the brush just by tapping it into the paint, just push. And I don't want that much paint in the time being, so let's come up here and just tap maybe some more white. I want this to show better. There we go. And always remember to leave dark areas in between that. Let's come up here. Just some more white. Maybe some cadmium yellow too. And let's come to this side. Let's take some more white. And if your paint won't stick, I'm gonna add at least a little amount of liquid white to that. Always remember that a thin paint sticks to thick paint. So that's better. And a little bit more white on top here. There we are. And we do not have vast differences between the highlight color and the background, but it's alright because we have a lot of stronger light coming in. Now let's take some more of my yellows and go to these. These are distinctly darker, as you can see. Blink through the yellows and white here. You can also add a little bit of dark sienna if you want. Always remember where your light source is. So from this side we highlight the left and this one to the right. Let's come to this big tree here. And you can see the nice variations of color. And remember to leave the bottom of those a bit dark. Okay, let's add some more paint. Cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, titanium white. And all these trees come to life in just a heartbeat because you just tap gently with your oval brush here. Love the different layers of leaves here. Let's come to this one. Okay. And let's come to this one. Maybe gonna add a little bit of our dark color here. Let's go straight to the yellows. As you can see, I have my palette here set up to different layers. Let's come here and add some different highlights. Fix the ones on the top. You know, it's nice to vary the color. We have lots of nice different colors here. Gonna add a little bit more dark in this. Always remember to have dark areas in between. Okay. I'm gonna bring some of those in the foreground. And maybe we go with some white in here. And just highlight the top of these. Just some pure white. Okay. Nice. Now let's make a big decision. Let's have some more dark areas. And I'm gonna go with the same brush into some, let's clean the areas with a thinner on, because I don't want to move any thinner on my dark colors, because we're gonna mix mud later on by adding the highlight. So always work with a firm paint underneath and thin it down when you have to stick different layers. So I'm gonna go into some of my browns, dark sienna and Van Dyke brown. Let's take a little bit of yellow ochre to that. And let's add some foliage here. Just darken this a little bit. Just here and there. Whatever shape you like, wherever you want. This is completely up to you. I just thought today we're gonna have fun with some nice autumn things happening here. And go to the other side too. This is how we build depth in the painting. Always layering and differing the colors. Something like that. Now then, let's have some tree trunks, some stronger trees maybe. Gonna return to my my browns with a filbert brush this time. I haven't used it for a while. And I'm gonna go into dark sienna and Van Dyke brown with some paint. And let's have some big trees here. Just start from the higher part and pull downwards. Let's have a couple of them. And add more pressure as you go downwards. This is very, very important. Start with less pressure and add more pressure as you go downwards. Like so. Let's have a big one. I want a big, strong tree here in the front. So let's use the brush this way. And I'm gonna come in here, reverse it, so I have more paint and a thicker tree. It's gonna be interesting. And add another one in here maybe. Give it a bit of character. And another one hidden here in the back. And you can also extend some of those. For instance, I want to bring this a little bit closer, but you know, I will do it after I put my highlights on, so it actually shows that it's closer to us. I'm going to do the same thing in the other side, so for the time being, let's add the highlights on the bushes. I'm going to go into some cadmium yellow, just cadmium yellow, yellow ochre. Just tap. As you can see, we have a ridge of paint on the edge of the bristles, and this is what we paint with. So let's come up here, and if your paint won't stick, just add a very, very small amount of paint thinner. This will help us stick the paint easier. Use a lot of paint for that, maybe a little bit of white too. And as you can see, it's much, much easier for the colors to stick. Just layer those. And something like this here too. I'm gonna add a little bit of bright red. We haven't added bright red. With some orangey colors here. I like orange. My room is orange, as you can see. Not many people were happy with this decision. Anyway, gonna add some dark sienna to that, and I want them darker and darker as we go here, so add more dark sienna. And let's come to the other side too. Back to my cadmium yellow. And paint some happy bushes here. Okay. Let's scratch a few sticks and twigs here, let the black show through. And it's not, you really don't have to use the same colors as I do here. You can turn this to a winter scene or another season. I just thought it would be nice to have a nice autumny glow here, so let's cheat a little bit. Let's use some white here. And I'm gonna highlight this because here is our light source, so just very gently highlight the top of those with pure titanium white. There we go. These ones are vibrant. Okay. Now let's pay some attention to the details on the tree trunks. I'm gonna make them bigger as I told you before, so let's come and extend this one. As you can see, this is how depth is built, and I'm gonna do the same with this one. Let's start from up here. There we go. A little bit more darker probably. And let's use the palette knife today. This is my favorite way, as you know. I'm gonna take this dirty white here, nice golden color, and I'm gonna add some of my browns. And now leave this like marble and cut off a small roll of paint. And let's start from here. Let's start by touching. Just start by touching here. Maybe a little bit more white. I want them a bit more distinct. I hope you can see them. And I'm just touching with a roll of paint actually. It's so easy to do. And do the same to all the trees. It's very important to learn to use the knife properly. Start by loading it properly and then hold it properly to do certain things. So in here I'm not using my finger on the blade, because if I do that you will add a lot of pressure and destroy this nice effect. As you can see, in here it's not as detailed as down here that I used it properly. So just learn to hold things, brushes and knives, the right way from the start. Let's come to this one now. Excuse my arm. Let's add some bark to this big fellow here. Just touch. Can you see how easy it is? And when this dries, it will actually feel like bark of a tree. It's so good. Just touching, as you can see. Let it get darker and darker as you go away from the tree. And do the same thing to each one of those. There we go. This big one here. And I suggest you just add a bit of character to your trees. Don't make them all straight. But if you want, you can do it. Because it's something completely up to you. What I want to do is to show you a technique. Technique that's very easy and can be done by everybody. And when some of my friends are, I'm discussing with friends about videos and all these, and some people say that, I can't paint, I'm not talented, or that's very difficult and all this. This is all not true. And the reason I made this channel is that I want to prove to everybody that you can really do this. It's very easy. But you just need to be patient, and above everything, you really need to want to paint. For instance, if you're just gonna do something because you don't have nothing else to do, and you pick up painting and find out that you're not in love with this thing and you're not doing good, you might as well stop doing it. Okay, let's add some tree trunks, some limbs, I'm sorry. Let's take some of my browns with my liner brush and some paint thinner. I'm gonna add some limbs to the trees. And let's come up here and add some branches. And if your paint won't flow, as always, add a bit of paint thinner. Have a build-up of paint in some areas. Let's paint this one too. Let's go to the big one here. I like those big trees. And you can also build big limbs using the same brush that you use to build the trunk with. But the liner brush is gonna give you more detail. Just get used to it. I'm just adding branches here and there. And do the same thing to all of your trees. And maybe these trees don't have any leaves left. Let's leave them like this. I think it's gonna give us interest. Okay. Let's move a bit forward. I want something to hold all this. And I think we're gonna have a nice waterfall here. And let me clean this spot here. So let's have something to hold all this. I'm gonna use my knife and I'm gonna go into some of my Van Dyke brown here. Spread this very flat on the palette and cut off a roll of paint. So let's have some big stones here. Just rub in some paint. Something like this. And now from here let's just pull downward. In here we add a lot of pressure and a lot of paint. Just go back and forth to pick some excess paint that you might have here. And I want to have the stones longer in here because we're gonna have sort of roundish shape. You know, you come back and forth changing your mind, and this is why I love paint like this, because in the start I want to have a small stream probably or something, but things worked different for me, so I'm gonna use what happened in order to enjoy myself painting. And what I want to do is to persuade people that are already painting and worrying about their paintings not turning out how they like. And I was like this also, but I have got over it, because there is a lot of beauty painting something just out of your mind and, you know, turning out beautiful and interesting. So don't let these things bother you, just enjoy what you're doing and work with how things turn out. Okay. And here I'm just plugging in color sometime while talking to you. There we go. Okay. And let's have a waterfall. And now we have a basic shape here, and after that we will come again with the same paint and seclude the waterfall, so there's nothing to worry about for the time being. Let me clean up my white from all these golden colors that I have. And I'm gonna go into a small amount of liquid white with my fan brush. I'm gonna use a number 6 fan brush for that. And I use the liquid white only to make the paint a bit thinner. I'm gonna add some of my phthalo blue and phthalo green. And let's come up here and, you know, let's rub a paint a little bit and then come like this up here and just make some splashes. That's all you have to do in the moment. come back with some Van Dyke brown and seclude this. And probably you can leave this area here in order to show that the waterfall is from this side. And you can see some of the stones right here where the Van Dyke brown is, so we just let things happen naturally. And so let's add some highlights first. Let's take some white, some more white, and some dark sienna, maybe a little bit of midnight black to that. Lots of variations of colors here, some Van Dyke brown. And cut off a small roll of paint and come up here and just by caressing the canvas. Let's bring these stones to life here. And do the same thing on the other side. So let's come here and just pull down. Just pull down like this. And let things happen. As you can see, I'm picking more Van Dyke brown and running out of paint at the same time, so I'll just let this happen. Like this. And do the same thing here. There we are. And I'm gonna use the fan brush to make some splashes now. Just use the corner of it and just splash in some paint. There we are. And as you can see, we're picking the color that's underneath the blue and the green. And just use some paint here to paint some water. Isn't it nice? And I'm not using a lot of paint for that, I'm just rubbing in some paint. Just try to make these as straight as possible. And if you want, you can also use a big brush to blend all these and make this a little bit softer, but for the time being, I don't want to do anything like this. Can you see these nice effects from the water here? And we also haven't used a lot of paint for that. Just blend the colors a little bit, and even though I do not have liquid clear on, I can do this very, very easily. Okay. Let's have something in here. Let's take the oval brush again. This is what we'll be using all this day. Let's go into some of my brown, some midnight black, tap in some color, and let's come up here and just bring some bushes to life. Maybe a little bit darker. Okay, let's build another big tree. Let's use the filbert brush, and I'm gonna go into some midnight black this time. I want this very, very dark. Let the brush full of paint, and come up here. Let's have our big tree right here, like this. There's a lot of paint for that. Let's have another one. Let's have another one in here. And we have still saved some of the background in order to show depth in the painting. Now let's paint the highlights. I'm gonna add some white and some of my dark colors, my browns, a little bit of black to that, a bit more of the dark sienna, and always leave your, maybe some yellow ochre too, I like it. Do not overmix and get your roll of paint, and come up here and do the same thing. This is gonna add tremendous depth in the painting. Just like this, just tap. Do the same to this tree too. And I'm using slightly different colors from the one in the background in order for them to be separated. That's why I added the black here. Just let things flow out of your heart. This is when it's most enjoyable. And a little bit more here probably. This is a harsh tree. I want some more light on top of it. Maybe add some more white. Add some more white, and this will blend with the colors that are underneath, so nothing to worry about messing up your colors. There we are. Okay. Let me add some limbs with a liner brush. I'm gonna go into the same color, midnight black. You can also add a little bit of Van Dyke brown, or use brown from the start. Let's come up here and let's add a nice limb, nice branch. Wherever you think you should be. And always remember to bring this brush to a point while using it to paint branches. Let's come to this one. Another one comes in here. Have as many as you want. And you can also bring a branch right in front of these, and it will send everything back. Okay. And let's finish this with some yellows here on my oval brush. Gonna add some bright red too. Just dump in some paint. And let's come here and start here just by tapping. So we always make bushes in this series, so I hope you find interesting using every different kind of equipment to paint those, because I think it's very, very fun painting bushes and stuff. Just something like this. And I'm gonna scratch in some sticks and twigs. And I think we have a complete painting. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's something different. It will help you using the oval brush, very limited equipment, and some very nice colors, and always build depth in your painting, different aspects, But above everything, try to enjoy what we do here. This is the most fun part of all, getting inspiration and just letting your heart guide you to build what kind of world you like. So until next time, I'd like to wish you happy painting and take care. I will see you soon.